Hey guys, happy Thursday. I have been wanting to come on and talk about this because it's just been on my heart for a little while about how marriage is overrated. Can everybody hear me good today? Let me just make sure all my techie stuff is working. Good morning, wearing her crown. Good day, Kim. Hello, beautiful. Hello, I am Diamond 1011. Hey, everybody. Tiffany, Bree, the great Derek. Hey, guys. So, I want to give just a really quick take on why I'm saying this. It's like, Rebecca, why are you saying this? Why are you saying marriage is overrated? Like, why are you coming on social media and bashing marriage? First of all, I'm not bashing marriage. What I'm saying is marriage is overrated because we have generations of women out here putting marriage on this pedestal, idolizing marriage, idolizing the concept or ideal of marriage. And the reality is, and granted, you guys, I know you're going to be like, well, Rebecca, you have a great marriage. You're happy. You have someone wonderful. You're in marital bliss. You guys, you found your other half. You found your whatever. But here's the thing, guys. Carrie is my third marriage. Hello. I'm going to need someone to listen to me. Why do I have so much knowledge? Why do I have so much wisdom? Why do I have so much to share with you guys? Because I've had so much life experience. I have been through the ups and downs. I have come to the place of understanding and maturity to understand what it takes for a relationship to work, what it takes to have healthy relationships. And the reason I'm telling you that marriage is overrated is because, first of all, the majority of people out here walking around that you're going to meet are jacked up. And even if they're not jacked up, it doesn't mean that they're emotionally self-aware, spiritually self-aware, mentally self-aware. It doesn't mean that they're doing their work. Guys, in order for a marriage to be healthy, you've got to have two individuals who are both willing to show up in that relationship. It requires sacrifice, compromise. It requires patience, tolerance. It requires communication and maturity. It requires so much that by the time most of you guys get into a marriage, because you've gone into it with all of these idealistic, oh, we're in love, I'm in love. It's my soulmate, we're in love, because you done caught feelings for somebody and vice versa. So you think that's all it takes for you to live happily ever after in a marriage. Marriage is hard. And this is coming from somebody who's happily married. The day-to-day ins and outs of navigating life and someone else and their emotions and their ups and downs and their growth and their personal development and your growth and your personal development and your triggers and their grief and their loss and your abandonment and your, oh, and you get laid off from a job and they get laid off from a job and so the reason that marriage is so overrated is because most people don't have a realistic perspective of what marriage really is and what it takes. So guess what? You're going into so if there was a job description for marriage, if there was a real job description, like if it was hiring, if marriage was hiring and it wrote out a job description that says going to require you to dig deep personally like nothing has ever challenged you before, going to require you to commit through ups and downs in some of the darkest times in your life and theirs and stay true and faithful, forsaking everybody else, every other vagina, every other penis in the whole wide world. Hello. You ready to dedicate your life to somebody and say, I'm only going to have this one vagina for the rest of my life, this one penis for the rest of my life? Sex better be real good. You better have a real deep connection. It better be the love of your life. And even then, is that easy? Listen, what's the job description saying? Going to challenge you mentally, spiritually, going to challenge you emotionally, going to require of you to grow up, gonna have to not be selfish, not be so self-involved, not be childish, that you're gonna have to grow up and deal with real life things like sickness, like death, like grown children acting crazy, like younger children going through their changes, money up, money down. See, right now, if you're single, you just got to deal with yourself and your little kitty cat or your puppy. But when you join your life with someone else, now, if that's the wrong person, this is the other reason marriage is overrated. Because half y'all just jumping into things because you're in this idealistic fairy tale of, oh, I'm married, a wedding, the wedding dress, oh, my forever. Men, you see yourself being married to the love of your life, and she's amazing, and she's supporting you and loving you, and she's your rock, and she's everything, and you're having children. And men fantasize about this too. They fantasize about being fathers and husbands in this idealistic life that they have in mind. And then they marry Cruella de Vil. And all of it goes to hell in a handbasket. Because all of a sudden, fellas, you're with somebody who is not a partner, not giving, not selfless, not helping, not supportive, not spiritual, not praying. Yes, she bad, but that's about where all the benefits end, because she good looking, and that's all she's bringing to the table. Now you killing yourself trying to give her everything, designer bags and vacations, because she want to keep up with the Joneses, and she don't even want to work. Well, why should I be working if we have any babies? I don't want to work. Why? Because she caught up on her social media lifestyle. Marriage is overrated. And some of you, if you keep putting marriage on a pedestal and idolizing marriage, you're going to end up married to the wrong person. You're going to find yourself in a situation that it becomes very difficult. Now it's contracts. Now it's legal. Great Derek says, fact. Sounds like my first wife, I was young and we both were dumb. Dumb. Derek, I got married at 20. Divorced at 30. Married for 10 years. Married to my first son's father like 6 months. Because I grew up in church. What do? You get married. You ain't gonna have no baby out of wedlock now. Wait a minute. You get married. Make that sex legal. Make that oops a forever mistake. I'm talking to those you grew up like me. Any of y'all grow up like me? Oh, you ain't dating. You ain't sexing. Oh, no. No. Right? So, marriage is overrated. Unless you are marrying somebody, Derek says, that's what got me too, religion. It'll do it every time. Guys, unless you are marrying somebody who's absolutely an amazing person, I'm not talking about how you love them. I'm talking about the caliber of their character, the caliber of their mindset, their caliber of how they live life. I'm talking about temperament. I'm talking about core beliefs. I'm talking about discipline. I'm talking about daily habits. I'm talking about who someone is without you even being an influence. Who are they standing on their own 2 feet? Work ethic, integrity, honesty, self-love, boundaries. This is about how whole. Because if someone's not doing well personally, fellas, this is where you go wrong. You hook up playing Captain Save-A-Ho. She didn't even have nowhere to lay her head, was practically homeless when you met her, and you trying to turn her into a housewife. She homeless to housewife, but then you wondering why you got a whole problem. Why you got a whole problem. This chick don't have the basics of life. Her choices and her decisions, yeah, her body's banging. Yeah, she fine. But her mindset and life choices, thank you, Diamond, her values. That's right, Nikki. I got to start asking, how whole are you? Right? Fellas, you'll save somebody in a heartbeat. Put on your cape, Captain Save-A-Ho, homeless to housewife. She practically didn't have 2 pennies, not nickels to rub together, 2 pennies to rub together. And you got all these excuses for her. You ignoring it when she was talking about how many times she was homeless or how many, all her friends have left her. No, she done burnt every bridge in her life. She's so grimy and lazy and entitled, she done burnt everybody she knows. She ain't got no friends left. She ain't got no bridges left. Why? She wants to be an actress. She's going to be a model. She's going to be a singer. She's just a little down on her luck. And because she's so pretty, what do? Oh, got one of them names that sound like a stripper. It's always Candy or Mercedes. Yup, Diamond. Come on, y'all know I'm telling the truth. She going by her stage name in real life. Not bringing nothing to the table but vagina and a booty. Nothing. And then you gonna try to wife her. Ain't nothing worse than the over the hill ones. She in her 40s, but still dreaming about being an actress. Still dreaming about being a model. No income, no credit. Great Derek says the Magic City names, right? And then you trying to turn her into housewife. And ladies, you do the same thing. Let him be fine. Let him be fine. You will freaking ignore all the red flags. This dude ain't got dusty as dusty gets. Dusty. Don't even have air conditioning in his car. Diamond said, wait a minute, Diamond's my real name. Diamond, okay, that's not your stage name. Okay, that's your real name, okay? But look, ladies, I'm not leaving y'all out. You will let him be fine. He don't have to have nothing. We could do this together. We got this. What are your dreams? I'll help you with that. Oh, you want to be a rapper at 40? Oh, you want to be... Mercedes says, don't do me like that, Rebecca. I know that's not your stage name. That's your real name, Mercedes. Okay? No, but listen. Right? Down on his luck. Ain't held down a job for 12 consecutive months and years. Has had about 50 jobs. But he fine though. He fine though, ladies. Come on now. What TLC say? Scrubs. But he fine. Okay? Borrowing somebody's car to even take you out. Driving his mama's car. Still living at home with his grandmama and you just don't know it yet. Or got 3 roommates in his 40s. Right? What? And y'all gonna try to turn this Dusty into a husband because he fine. Oh, you gonna try to move him in your house. You trying to write up a business plan. You trying to fix his credit. You trying to come up with business plans for you guys to do together. Trying to look. Right? Derek says facts. And that's the dude that demands submission. Thank you, Derek. Clowns. This is clown shit. Clown stuff. I'm trying not to curse y'all. Clown stuff. And you jumping through hurdles trying to win this dude, impress this dude, worried he don't like you, worried you ain't good enough, worried he ain't choosing you, worried he got 3 more chicks, but you going in debt trying to help him. My mama used to say, you can do bad all by yourself. You don't need nobody hanging with you to be doing bad. Listen, most of y'all doing pretty good on your own. The worst thing in the world is to add someone to your life who is a subtraction. This is why I'm always reinforcing with you guys to be working on yourself, creating a life that you love, creating a life that you can be proud of, working on yourself, mind, body, and spirit. Mind, body, and spirit, right? Because when you have done that and you've done all this hard work, then when somebody comes into your life, but all of a sudden you have sleepless nights, and all of a sudden things ain't going so well, and all of a sudden your money takes a downturn, and all of a sudden you got headaches, and all of a sudden you got stress. Well, what's the new addition? That's subtracting from your life. It is simple math. Before this person came along, you were doing pretty good. Before this person came along, you were sleeping good at night, eating good, moving good, traveling, health getting good, body getting right. You in the gym, you losing weight, you getting some muscles, bank account is stacking, new jobs and opportunities coming. You add the wrong person to your life, everything starts to go downhill. Mental health, spiritual health, emotional health, financial health. But you steadily trying to hold on to the person, ignoring the spiritual feedback that God is trying to give you to say, this ish ain't it. This ain't it. This is not it, boo. God is like, brakes. God is trying to pump your brakes. He's giving you all the feedback. Anxiety level going through the roof, stress level going through the roof. All of a sudden your health is acting up. All of a sudden your money, all of a sudden you start having problems. All of a sudden there's a legal issue. All of a sudden, because God is trying to get your attention and distract you away from this person who ain't even supposed to be there. And you're having the audacity to be daydreaming about trying to make it permanent with this person, with this loser. Permanent. Guys, excuse me, the house cleaners are here. My dogs are going crazy. If you can hear them in the background, the cleaning ladies are here. You have the audacity to try to ignore all the craziness that's going on and how your life is going to hell in a handbasket because you so caught up on Miss Cutie or Mr. Cutie. And the reality is, who said that? Grace said, everything that could go wrong was going wrong. All things cadence. My therapist said that your physical body can even retain weight to detract you from an unhealthy partner. Listen, God be trying to get your attention. So what am I saying, guys? Why is marriage overrated? Because the reality is that true, mutual, reciprocated love is rare. True, healthy, whole love, and not somebody that's going to tear you down and rip you to shreds. Not somebody that's going to break your heart. We call a lot of things love that's not love, guys. Somebody said, this is a good question. How do you know the difference? Brittany Amofa. How do you know the difference between something that's not meant for you and figuring out the hard work to be with someone? Brittany, they will be doing what it takes to make it work also. They own and recognize their own issues and the things that are sabotaging the relationship. And they want you just as much as you want them. And they're willing to do what it takes to work on the personal development that it takes for them to show up as a great partner, because they don't want to lose you and they also love themselves. So they appreciate the pressure, maybe not always in the moment. They may not appreciate it in the moment, but there's going to come a point where they say, thank you, baby, for pushing me. Thank you for holding me accountable to be greater. Thank you for getting me to go to therapy. Thank you for holding me accountable. Thank you for buying me those books. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for not letting me settle for less than. Thank you for pushing me into greatness. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for being there when no one was there. Thank you for seeing the best in me. Thank you for seeing the God in me. Ooh, honey. They will show up. They will appreciate. They will know that the love is real. J Higgs 859, why haven't I been listening to you? Right? Listen. That's how you know you're doing the work, because you're not alone. You're not alone in doing the hard things. They're doing it too. You're navigating the hard things together, guys. If you are the only one working in your relationship, that's not a relationship. That's not a relationship. If you are tolerating bad behavior and disrespect and not holding them accountable to change, that's not doing the hard things in a relationship. That's called abuse. It's called abuse. You're just sticking around being abused by somebody who has no intention of changing. And you're not holding them accountable to change because they keep doing it and you just keep tolerating it. Tolerating it. Right? Rebecca's the real... Thank you, Brittany. You're so sweet, honey. Rebecca's the real deal. Thank you. Oh, I like this one. Random inspired. I feel like I've found that since I've been with my boyfriend, I've grown as a person. I've even grown to defend myself. He respects me. I appreciate him. That's how it's supposed to be, guys, right? Alohu Champ says, Rebecca, people can really scheme to get you to believe or see them as true and good for you. But once you give in and return the love, they show their damn ass. Baby, you ain't never lied. Once they get comfortable, once you let your guard down. I was in a relationship, guys. This is in the 9 years when I was single. In between my divorce and marrying Carrie, I was single for 9 years. I had a couple of more long-term relationships in that 9 years, but I wasn't married, so I call it single. So I was in love, guys. I had rekindled a romance with, not rekindled, we were friends in high school, but we both got together after a divorce, and I was so in love with him. And I think he'd had a crush on me in like high school, I think. And so for him, I was that girl, right? And guys, I'll never forget, it was like as soon as he really got me, all of that working to get me, right? But as soon as he really got me and I was all in, all of a sudden, here's all the unhealed wounds. Here's all of the unhealed stuff that begins to bleed all over me, that he can't love me like I was loving him. He was struggling to reciprocate the love. My love actually made him uncomfortable. My love, he wasn't used to being loved like that. Was not used to being loved like that, right? And he couldn't help it. He didn't know what to do with it. He was out of his element, right? And then literally, it took me 3 years. I found that woman that keeps it 100, 3 years. We were on the same energy level, but I had to go through some bad ones to find this amazing one. Derek, listen. Doll baby. Why y'all think I'm so grateful for Carrie Pope? Why do you guys hear me get so excited when I talk about Carrie Pope? And we've been together 7 years. Why do you think that I have this love for Carrie Pope? It's because when you have gone through hell and high water, when you have been taken through the ringer, right? In relationships, when you have experienced disappointment, when you have experienced heartbreak because you put all your eggs in that basket and you dreamed that big dream and you really thought this was it and it falls apart, or they're not who you thought they were, right? It's devastating. Picking the wrong people devastated my life. Marrying the wrong person devastated my life. Devastation. Emotionally, spiritually, financially devastated. My divorce took me out. I married the wrong person. Naive, immature, clueless of what I was getting myself into, trying to follow all these rules that people and my loved ones and my parents had created to say what you're supposed to do, what's the right thing to do. But just because it's the rules of what they say is the right thing to do doesn't mean it's right for you. I nearly killed myself in a 10-year marriage. Almost took me out. By the time I finally left and got divorced, I was wiped out. All my rental properties, bankrupt, all my savings gone, bankruptcy. Then he had the audacity to be attacking me verbally, stalking me, terrorizing me, because I'd had the audacity to finally get my whole life and get the hell on, but then he's mad and feels rejected. Because no matter how bad it was, he would have never left. And when I finally say, to save me, I got to get out of this. Then I go through 3 years of persecution. Then it's court battles and custody battles, financial battles, to where my life, by the time it was said and done, was completely devastated. This is what's on the line: your mental health, physical well-being, your financial health, your investments, your prosperity. I had worked so hard to build a good life. I had worked so hard and was married to someone lazy, entitled, with a get-over spirit. Next thing you know, over 10 years, I'm carrying the workload. I'm carrying everything because I was also an enabler. Didn't know how to require what I wanted and needed. So what happens? You'll find yourself creating more liabilities and more responsibility. I kept having babies, but was married to a child. 3 sons. And then a husband that ain't helping with nothing. Why? I didn't vet. Dreamy, idealistic fairy tale marriage ideas of what marriage is. Oh, if you just marry we're in love. Maybe what you're calling love is just the greatest thing you experienced up to that point. You don't know what love is until you really experience true love, mature love. When I tried to fight for myself and get out of a devastating marriage, they called it a generational curse, right? Because they hate divorce. But guys, what you have to remember is God didn't put all these things together. God did not put all these things together. You have to remember that sometimes you're just making a choice. And just because somebody wants to marry you too doesn't mean that it's from God. Just because you get in front of the pastor and take some vows with each other doesn't mean that it has the fruit of the Spirit, doesn't mean that this is God's best for you. You can just choose someone. And that's how divorce happens. Because we just make these random choices and then we saying, God bless my mess. And that's not how it works. God will tear apart your mess, strip it all the way down to take you back to ground zero, because he ain't in the business of blessing mess. He gonna clean up your mess, which often means divorce. Okay. Marriage is overrated. Wendy says, I'm seeing someone who seems pretty well perfect so far. I uncovered his social media accounts that show really poor character, sexual indiscipline, immaturity, etc. Should I run? Yeah, run, boo. Run. Why? Can I tell you how much insight you can get from looking at someone's social media? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I want to give you a different perspective of people's social media accounts, okay? Here's a perspective. On your social media account, everyone, every individual, how are people supposed to have kids? If you don't meet somebody who's worth having kids with, then go adopt a child and raise them on your own. Don't involve some crazy lunatic to have babies with and take on their genetics. I mean, y'all want an answer? I got one for you. I'd go, if I was in my 40s and didn't have no children, in my 30s and wasn't married and I wanted a child, I would go get me a child and raise that child by myself before I would involve some loser just for the sake of saying I have to marry somebody or marry a loser and I don't have any prospects for marriage and I'm going to go have a baby with somebody because I want a baby. No, there's other ways to have babies. Real talk. You would do better by yourself with a child, with your values and core beliefs, and you taking care of you and your mental health. You would do better raising that child with your influence. Adopt, right? Go get you inseminated. I don't know. Look, whatever I'd have to do, I wouldn't involve no loser. Sure wouldn't. Anyway, here's a perspective on social media and why social media and what people post matters. On any given moment, any given minute, anything that someone posts, they had a gazillion trillion options. A gazillion trillion options of what you're going to put on your social media. You can put something motivational. You could put a quote. You can put a picture. You could be uplifting. Are y'all hearing me? Or you can be putting sexual content, derisive, derogatory, racist, hateful, so whatever you see someone post on their social media is coming from the heart. The heart. Stop and think about that for a minute. We post what resonates to us. We post the stuff that we feel close, relative, that we think is funny, cool, inspiring, whatever our interests are, our passions, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. Social media is giving you insight into someone's spirit, mindset, health, heart posture, and overall well-being or lack thereof. Go look at somebody's social media. Analyze it. Oh, out of all the shit you could have posted today, you chose that. Okay. Brittany says, but social media is also very, very fake. I only show one side of me on social. Okay, but I'm going to judge the one side that you're showing. I mean, I'm going to take into account whatever it is you are choosing to show publicly, then you're going to be judged by that. That's what you're giving someone. That's what you're showing. So until someone gets to know you personally and sees your day-to-day actions, disciplines, behaviors, and choices, they're only going to know that one side. That's why y'all get all of me on social media. I have trained and certified over 200 life coaches. Guess what I tell all 200? Be authentic. Be authentic. Why? Because then you don't have to fake nothing. You ain't got to lie about nothing. Show up. Show what you eat. Show your puppies. Show your life. Show your real thoughts. Give your real feelings. Give your real opinions. So what if some people don't like it? Everybody else will love you for being you. Be you. That way you don't have to have a public image and a private image. Just be you. Flaws and all. Opinions and all. Right? It works. Everybody doesn't have to like you. But the people who do like you are your people. Your people. Okay, there was a question up here. She said, sorry if I already asked it. Jay says, I hate when people say that's not me or just because I posted don't mean that's me. Yes, it does. Do you believe that love isn't enough for a successful and fulfilling relationship or marriage? From watts.png. Apologies if you touched on this already. No, love's not enough. Love is not enough. I love that guy I was telling you about. That was with for 3 years. That was crying every day. I loved him more than I had ever loved anybody in my whole life before Carrie. Was it enough? No. It was not enough. My love could not heal his broken places. His love could not heal the things he needed to work on. My love could not fix his fears, phobias, issues, upbringing. Love is never enough, guys. It's never enough. If you look at someone, I think I posted on my story and somebody saved it and sent it to me in an inbox. They said, it said, beyond love, you need to be thinking about their family. You need to be asking questions about family issues, trust issues, trauma, financial history. You need to be talking about everything. Sexual expectations, family expectations, relationship expectations. Watts.png says, I came to that realization after my 5-year relationship ended. Guys, I've said this before in other videos. I'm going to say it again. One of the things you need to be vetting for in new prospects, love prospects, and even current prospects, for those of you who are in relationships, one of the things you need to be vetting for is someone's willingness to work on themselves. Their willingness to do the work. Their willingness to do personal development. Their willingness to do professional development. It is their willingness to change, to grow. I'm a firm believer in this. I can rock with you if you're trying. If you're willing to try. If you're willing to humble yourself enough. It's one of the things that made me fall in love with Carrie Pope. When I met Carrie Pope, I remember it wasn't too many after our first few dates. And I said, you know, it really sounds like you're not over your divorce. It sounds like it really did a doozy on you. I think you're still hurting. And he was like, I am. He admitted it. And I said, I think you should take this healing course of mine. I think you should do this course. This will really help you. And he did it. He did it. And I was like, okay. I had not met too many men that, especially men of title, an apostle, right? An apostle with a title, a church, who was willing to admit on the personal side that he was hurting and that he still had some work to do. I was like, okay, we go together, right? Because as long as someone's willing and is then does the work, right? Man, listen. I can rock with that all day long because I'm always doing my work. I'm always working on me. So that's something I highly regard and respect in someone else. And if you are two people doing that together, sky's the limit, right, guys? Because if you're showing up and you're doing your work and they're showing up doing their work, it's ego and pride that gets in the way of greatness. It's ego and pride that gets in the way of love. Derek says it's easier to raise a child than to fix a broken man. Frederick Douglass. So true. So true. So the men, fellas, you that are listening, that are showing up and working to be great men and working on yourselves to show up for your wife, your future children, your future children, that you're working on you every day, mind, body, spirit, that you're getting therapy, that you're working through generational, old, junky mindsets, that you're healing past trauma, that you're healing the pain so you don't have to bleed all over the people you love. Would you say it's a strength or weakness being adaptable in a relationship? I would say it's both, Jazzy Jeff. You have to be careful, because being adaptable in the right relationship where that person is also being adaptable and growing as well, that's healthy. But I think the other definition of adaptable would also be tolerant, because somebody could be abusive or unhealthy or toxic, and you're adjusting to that person without holding them accountable to get healthy. And now that's going to be hurting you and be abusive to you and your well-being and your mental health. So I think being adaptable depends on who you're in a relationship with. Are you adapting to toxicity, or are you adapting to growth, maturity, and love? That's what I would say. So, guys, marriage is overrated. If I had all the money, I was building wealth in my 20s, y'all. I was spiritual and gifted from the time I was young. I married the wrong person, and it took my life on this tangent, this trajectory, 10 years of wilderness, 10 years of not growing, 10 years of not walking in purpose, not growing, right? And I think back to my 20s and I'm like, daggone, the only thing I got out of that decade is my sons. That's all I have to show for it. I ended up losing everything that I had built, all my rental properties, investments, everything. My mental well-being. Marriage is overrated because marriage is dangerous. Do you think willingness to change and grow can be a byproduct of love? I do, Stephen Spicer. I think that the love you have within yourself can cause you to change and grow. I do not believe that someone else loving you can heal unless you are willing to change and grow yourself. Because I think there's a lot of us, even right here on this live, who could attest to say, we've loved somebody in a really, really great way, but they resisted that love and they resisted the change and the healing that love was trying to evoke. So yes, I think that the willingness to change and grow can be a byproduct of love, but it's self-love that change and growth is a byproduct of. Love doesn't change us. It's love working on us to then love ourselves to change and grow. I will personally say that the way I love took someone like Carrie, who was a willing recipient of that love, to then see himself through my eyes and the eyes of God, to see himself as great, to see himself as amazing and wonderful, that then changed his posture of self-love and self-confidence because he was willing to take on that change. Does that make sense, guys? I know that sounds complicated, but I hope that makes sense to someone. I'm wondering, what is the difference between being patient with a man and settling? 5, Aureen, if someone's not doing the work to change, then you're wasting your time. If you don't see him doing anything, so the signs of change and the signs of willingness to do the work and change is actually doing the work. What is the work? Reading books, going to therapy, getting coaching, trying to actively heal and change the behaviors and mindsets that are sabotaging or that are toxic. If someone is not doing the work to counteract all of that, then they're just going to be the same person in another 5 years, 10 years, whatever. Nothing's changing. So you being patient when somebody is acting crazy, unless they're actually taking the actions to change those things about them and heal those areas of their life, then you're wasting your time. Okay, Mercedes says it does make sense to you. Awesome. All right, guys. Marriage is overrated. Why is marriage overrated? Because marriage is dangerous. Marriage can wreck your whole life. If you are not marrying the right person and someone who's going to be a life partner and work together with you to build and create a great life together, you do not need to be with somebody working against you, somebody subtracting from your life. Okay? And not coming from an ego or a pride perspective. Oh, you need to be bringing this to the table and you need to be this. No. I'm talking about mentally, spiritually, emotionally. I'm talking about somebody that helps you to be better and vice versa. You help them to be a better person. And then together, the sky's the limit. And until you meet that person who's willing to do that work and willing to do life together, it's not worth it. You be patient, you wait. And I will say this, I don't believe everybody should be married. And you've heard me say it, and you guys hate when I say it. But I don't believe everyone should be married. I believe that some of you have a greater calling and purpose on your life than to be locked into a relationship that requires so much from you. Marriage requires a lot of energy. It requires a lot of investment. Marriage requires a lot of you. And some of you have a greater calling on your life to do things that you don't have time. Why do you think Oprah never got married? I heard an interview from her and she gave her reasons why. Steven says, absolutely. Me and my big brother are in a space right now where our love is a change of commitment in our relationships to see it through, to do everything we need to do to make it work. Yes. Guys, that's why I say sometimes if you really know marriage is not for you, that you're not ready to sacrifice and compromise, in the happiness of someone else. There's an interview with Oprah that explained why she never got married, and she broke it down. She said that she and Stedman have an amazing relationship. He did not require too much of her. He supported her career, all her endeavors and dreams, but she knew if they got married that it would change. She would change and he would change. His expectations of her would change, and she would try to bend to make him happy because that's what wives do. And her purpose and greater purpose of life would have been affected. She wouldn't have been able to do everything that she's gone on to do. Right? I agree with you, but what about burning in passion and sinning against God? So you're talking about fornication. So I believe that fornication, sin is sin, first of all. Anything that's not keeping you in alignment with God is what I define as sin. Anything that comes in and separates you from God. At the end of the day, making a long-term lifetime commitment to be miserable with somebody or to not be who God created you to be, I think is the greater sin than you having sex one time because you finally gave in, or you had a moment of weakness, or whatever you want to call it. You're going to commit your whole life to somebody for 40 years? I'm just saying, and be miserable over some sex? Take it however you want, sweetheart. But I'm just speaking from experience. There's a lot of miserably married people that, okay, yeah, the sex is legal, but you're miserable. Miserable. That's not God's will. For you to be miserable. It is not God's will for you to be waking up miserable every day, traumatized, terrorized. Anyway, I love you guys. Marriage is overrated because marriage is dangerous. Take it serious. All right, guys, I gotta go. I gotta go finish this book. Joan, I'll have to answer that on next Wednesday. All right? All right, the great Derek. Thanks, guys. I love you guys. Blessings and abundance. I will talk to you guys soon. Make sure you tune in next Wednesday for the Rebecca Lynn Pope Show, live at Rebecca Lynn Pope if you want to be a guest on the show. Live at Rebecca Lynn Pope to be a guest. And don't forget to buy your WORK Masterclass. The Masterclass is going away. This is the last week to sign up for the WORK Masterclass. Get your Masterclass. Start doing your work. Okay? All right. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.